The new adventure at Linden Grove continues, and one of the special guests out here today is the principal of St. Joseph's College, Mr. Paul Tobias. Welcome, Paul. How are you?
Thank you. I'm in good form. Thank you very much.
A wonderful day out here, and
it's been a
for
great
the King
day.
family.
Yeah, and a very innovative idea that the Kings have got out here. So yeah, it should be a good venture for them and for the city.
And great contributors to our community here in Geelong over the years.
They have been, both Michael and Louise have been great supporters of St. Joseph's College, so yeah, it was good to be here today and to support them in this venture.
Now, on a lighter note, before I get into the serious one, St. Joseph's College continued with a good win over Whitefriars from Donvale, up the Herald Sun Shield ladder. So yes. the coach still got his job.
Yes, we're not being cocky, but quietly confident that we might play off in the final at the G this year, and hoping that we can go one better than last year.
Now, on a more serious note, Paul, the recent state budget from the Victorian government, allocation of funding to education was one of a big ticket item, but one that really stood out was a seemingly lack of continued support for Catholic education.
Yeah, look, it's been very, very disappointing, and I suppose very few occasions that we've chosen to, I suppose, seek the political road, but we've found that we've needed to go out to our parents on this occasion and say, look, we need you to be speaking to your local member, because it is very disappointing that Catholic schools have been so poorly provided for in the state government recent budget. We're quite pleased with the arrangements that we have with the Commonwealth government, but the state has been, over the last 10 years, consistently been falling behind, and we're hoping that parents will get active and that politicians will start to realise that the sort of students that we have at our schools are just an ordinary representation of our community. Our parents, we have a low fee structure, and so we're hoping that the state government will realise that we're worthy of support and will give us a greater level of support than we're currently receiving.
And what we're talking about, viewers, is funding right across the full spectrum, from the lower, from basically primary school, as we understand it in general terms, through secondary levels.
Yeah, both the primary and the secondary sector are poorly funded by the state government, and the poorest funding actually of any state in the nation. And we're hoping that someone will address that and do something about it, and we're appealing to our politicians to be upfront about that.
And I suppose one of the other elements, Paul, that remains a little bit of an unknown as far as the viewers are concerned. I mean, people or students who would go to what I'll call the public schools, the high schools, the secondary colleges, they all have a reasonably, being a parent from the past, always have had a strong fee structure which has increased, but it always seems to be the element of private schools who have the arrow aimed at too often.
Yeah, look, I think so. I only represent at our school, I think, very ordinary students and ordinary parents, and we have some generosity around recently arrived migrants, including the Sudanese, and you know, all of that costs, and so we're constantly, I guess, delving into our global budget to try and pay for those sort of programs, and with a low fee structure, it's a real battle and it's getting harder.
Paul Tobias, thank you for your time. The principal of St. Joseph's College, and watch out for St. Joseph's College in the Herald Shield. They'll be there on the G. No worries about that. Thanks again, Paul.
Thank you very much.
A new adventure out here at Linden Grove, and we're catching up with the CEO of the Committee for Geelong, Mr. Peter Dorling. Good afternoon, Peter. How are you, mate?
Hello, how are you going?
Very well indeed, and such a lovely afternoon. Another step in the right direction for the Geelong community, courtesy of the King family.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good things courtesy of the King family, but this looks terrific. This facility here has been, I think, screaming for something to happen to it for a while, and now that Michael King and his family got hold of it, I think it'll be a real success. And Michael's is one of Geelong's leading business people, so we're very confident that it'll be a good venture.
He's been a quiet achiever, though, hasn't he, over his time, in the way in which he's settled into the community and led the community in so many different ways.
I think that's probably right, but he is a St. Joey's boy at the end of the day, so he's always going to have his say. But no, look, he's sort of he's dabbled in politics, as you know. He's dabbled in some local government stuff. He's a member of most of the leading think tanks in Geelong, G21, the Committee for Geelong. I think he had a short stint with the Chamber. He's done a bit of everything, but I think his real strength is in business. He has a very good business brain, as is the family, obviously his mum and dad and his wife. And to have those sort of people in Geelong working, investing and operating in Geelong is what we need.
Well, you mentioned the dabbling. Let me ask you from a viewpoint of professionalism now, wearing your CEO hat of the Committee for Geelong, the recent decision by the state government that indicates to us that they're going to basically, as I understand it, take over planning within the Geelong region or a particular part of it. Can you clarify that for us, first of all, as to what exactly are they planning to do?
Well, the way we understand it, which the Committee for Geelong
Yes.
supports, is we're talking about the central area of Geelong, mainly the city area, mainly we would think from the railway station across to the Botanic Gardens and back up to McKillop Street, so that whole city centre, maybe including the water, the pier, the Cunningham Pier. We just think it's a good move. We don't think it in any way is taking the power away from council. I think it's giving them a hand. I think the state government saying there are some major issues happening in Geelong, major development issues, and they will continue to happen. So we're going to join with you in a partnership, in a panel, planning panel, and give you a hand to deliver some of these projects. What you've got to understand is that in Melbourne, that's standard fare. I mean, Melbourne has delivered South Bank, Docklands, Federation Square, the Arts Centre, Maribyrnong. All these major projects in Melbourne happened with state government support, very much like they're hoping, and they will do, in Geelong. So there's nothing to fear here. In fact, there's everything to gain, the way we see it.
And the structure of the proposed planning authority as such will involve a couple of council representatives in itself.
Yeah, exactly, and therefore they should have very little to fear. They've got 2 reps on the planning committee, 2 state government reps, and an independent chair. And you've also got VCAT, which is the ultimate arbiter here, that'll still come into play if the development, whatever it might be, is objected to. It will end up in VCAT in Melbourne as well. So there's still those checks and balances. It's really not anything to fear at all. In fact, as I said before, look at what's happened in Melbourne over the last 20 years. Melbourne is now one of the best cities in the world, certainly one of the most livable cities in the world, and has some fantastic developments underway. We're 45 minutes down the road here in Geelong. Why aren't we getting the same attention from the state government? This is about attention and we're happy with it.
Sets a different perspective, doesn't it, viewers? And you heard it from Peter Dorling, CEO Committee for Geelong. Thank you very much for that, Peter. It's certainly a very good mind opener and straightforward thinking, and appreciate your views.
You're more than welcome, Rollo.
Bye for